Good morning, everybody. 20 seconds.
You only turned it on with 20 seconds left?
Yeah, no one wants to hear us yapping in their ears without seeing.
We can't like talk.
9,
Hey,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. They said you were echoing, but it should be fixed now. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony show. I'm Carla Marie.
My name is Anthony.
And tell me if he's still echoing now. Do.
Oh, looks like we got a hype train going too.
Okay, so wait. Okay, you're still echoing, Tones.
I am still echoing.
Well,
Okay.
don't talk. You're gonna have to call me because it's gonna drive everyone insane.
No, just turn off the desktop audio.
Off. Talk.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's everyone saying?
Thank you, Amy. We're
What
good.
happened?
And also, Amy is yelling from 2 doors down, so I can hear her.
All right.
right.
Well, thank you everybody for helping. Be the remote producers that we need.
Okay. Good times.
And I'm looking at the hype train. It looks like we hit another level. I don't know what level that is at.
Bro.
But I am ready. I am ready for shots today, Carla Marie.
Oh, what do you?
I am ready
Why?
to rage.
It's been a while. Why?
Well, you know what? Let's go through. Is the list on the screen?
It is.
Okay, let's go through the list first
Okay.
to let everyone know what's coming up. And then I will explain why I am going to be on a roll today.
Okay. Well, it's Thursday, April 4th, 2024, in case everyone forgot. There is a big announcement today that won't be happening until later in the show after the commercial break. So don't start asking. There's local and breaking news, apparently. I don't know. That's you.
Well, it's an issue with local and breaking news.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
A wholesome nightclub, small talk saves money, and perfect timing game day.
Okay, so what are we starting with? Let's start with perfect timing game day, Carla Marie, because that is why I am pumped up. Are we taking shots?
Jay, thank you so much for the subs. We are.
I saw Jen and Lisa also dropped 5 subs each.
The lights that we have in this studio now are so blinding that it's so hard for me to see the screen directly in front of me. I don't know what's at level 4 complete.
Okay, so let's see. Once the confetti clears from my chat. All right, we're almost through.
Thank you, Amy.
What looks like hype train level 5.
mango jalapeno tequila.
Oh, hello.
Mango shot.
Yeah, we're 76% of the way through Hype Train level 3. And for people who aren't familiar with the Hype Train,
level 5.
Level 5. I don't know why I said level 3. For people who aren't familiar with the Hype Train, if you are not following us and you choose to follow, that helps the Hype Train. If you're not subscribed and you choose to subscribe, that also helps. Also, there are things called bits and gifted subs. And none of that matters now because we just hit level 5. And every time we do that, we take a shot.
Okay.
So, Carla Marie,
what do you do?
Explain what you got in front of you. And I'm going to grab a small glass. And I got something over here.
Okay, so this is Mango Shada from our friends at Seattle Cocktail Club. If you don't know about them, check them out. SeattleCocktailClub.com. They are your one-stop resource for all things cocktails. I don't know if that's the tagline, but it is now. This is Mango Jalapeno Tequila, and on here it says, take a shada and bite back. I don't know what that means. But it's got a skeleton dog biting a jalapeno. This can't be good. I'm going to pour it up. Oh, man. Pour it up. Is that Beyonce or Rihanna? Rihanna. Tones is at his parents' house in New Jersey. So
he sure is. And I want everyone to know, because I am ready to rage today, if we get another level, I'll take another shot. I'll keep going.
Are you okay?
I am not okay. I am very excited, Carla Marie. Okay, so what did you explain your shot to everybody?
I did.
Okay, so I got Screwball whiskey here, which is peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah, take that away from me.
Which would kill Carla Marie. I think I poured way too, but this glass is actually very large. All right. Carla Marie, cheers to you. Cheers to everyone who supported the stream this morning.
I can't reach. I'm not reaching over the roadcaster, but cheers.
That's totally fine. Your camera's much farther. Here we go. Woo! And we need a birthday song, Carla Marie, because it's Vicky's birthday.
Oh my God.
You're right there?
I can make that happen. It goes mango, and then you feel the mango, and you're like, ooh, beach vacation. And then it's like jalapeno in your face.
Is that a good thing? I don't know. Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
It actually, it is really good, but I don't know. I would like to know the science of how they're like, give them this flavor first, then this one.
I don't know. Lefty Basis, thank you very much for those 200 bits. Appreciate that very much.
It's Angela in Spokane and Vicky's birthday.
Oh, snap. Do you know how buttons you're pressing?
Excuse me.
I don't know. Oh, I can hear it.
Keep it going.
Okay, perfect. We did not hit level 6 of the hype train, did we? No, okay, we're still 2 minutes away from that, so I do not have to take another shot yet. But
yeah,
I'm telling you, every level we get after 5, I'm doing one today. If we get to level 100, well, no, I would die at that point, so I don't want to do that.
Kate said, I need captions so I can watch you guys while I rock my sleeping baby. That's something we can add, we think, but it's just going to be
It is an option that we can add through OBS, but I think you then have to add it through Twitch. I don't know, like we wouldn't have captions on the screen the whole time. I'd have to figure out that system.
If you watch
it was
on
something
YouTube,
I tried to a while ago.
If you watch on YouTube, can you do closed captioning?
I don't know. It's a good question. If someone wants to try it out, go for it.
Oh, you know what? I don't have the YouTube chat up, but DJ Synth wanted the birthday people to know. See, their birthday is this weekend, though, but still, he said 9 months prior to today is July 4th. So
a lot of freedom babies.
Except, isn't it really 10 months? Like, what is the end? What is the
You know what they say? July 4th, freedom and effing. That's how it goes. I didn't say the word. Even though, I mean, I can. You know, we have a friend who started a podcast recently. His name is Puckett. And he's a sports podcast.
Yes.
Oh man, we just got another level.
You scared
Here we go.
me. You said, "Oh man, like I did something wrong because I'm clicking around here."
Oh no. And one of the things when I was listening to Puckett's first couple episodes that he posted, it's a sports podcast, but he was explaining why he left regular radio, which was his choice. By the way, he was not let go, but he
get that option.
No, and we'll talk about that when we have him on. I want to let him tell his story. But he was explaining how there were times where he wanted to curse, but he's so programmed on terrestrial radio not to curse that he hasn't done it yet. And I don't know if he's done it in episodes since then, but I want to tell him, you know what? It doesn't make it better. You know, because I think what happens with podcasters a lot of times is, and this is something we really tried not to do. Oh, no, not yet. I didn't take my level 6 shot. We tried not to do this
in My Day Friday.
We wanted to treat it like a radio station. So we tried our best not to curse. Now, if something came up, that was fine. And I think that's okay. But when people normally get into podcasting, they go, oh, I can curse whenever I want. So F this, F that, blah, blah, blah. And I think what I'm trying to do with my swearing now is make sure it's worth it.
Yeah, but you know what? This is where you and I disagree, because you try to be like Miss Prim and Proper boarding school, and when I'm cursing not on this podcast, you're like, did you need to say the fuck? And I'm like, yeah, I needed to say the fuck.
No, because you'll say things like
and it's not to people, it's to you.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it. I'm a person. What does that mean? It's not to people, it's to you. I'm a person. You know what? Speaking of cursing, I'm a person, asshole.
Can you please explain? Okay, take the shot, and then you explain the sentence that I use it, and then I have a...
Ooh. That one hit me a little harder. So Carla Marie, there's 2 reasons that I give Carla Marie some crap for cursing. I know that's a kind of funny statement in itself. One is she'll yell like, F, right? She'll like scream it. And I'll turn around and say like, did you fall? Did you break your toe? Did something terrible happen? Or she'll do it while she's looking at her phone. And she'll respond with, oh, I forgot I was supposed to take out the mail. Or I don't know, something stupid. And then the other time she'll use it, she'll be telling a story and she'll say like, oh, and then I grabbed the effing pen. I'm like, well, you don't need to, it's not, are you angry at the pen? Is it this? No, you do that all the time.
You're
all the time.
A lot of Jersey girls in here. And then
here's the thing. I grew up in New Jersey, right? I didn't leave Jersey until I was 30.
You left your roots. You left them in New Jersey.
What I realized, I think, when I left New Jersey, and I do think Seattle did change my opinion on this, because in New Jersey, we use the F word for everything, and we even use it as a pause. I've talked about this before, right? If you're thinking in other parts of the country, they say, In New Jersey, we go, what was that thing?
Fucking.
Right?
Okay.
Right?
Well.
But hold on. But when I went to Seattle, I realized, now granted, I look the way I look, especially when I have a beard. I feel like people in Seattle think that I'm a little more aggressive than I actually am because I'm not like Pacific North white. But the reason I think people thought I was more aggressive than I was also because I was cursing so much and I was using the F word a lot. And it's just not something that people in the Pacific Northwest often do, or at least not the ones that I ran into.
Okay. So anyway, the whole chat is saying, this is me. Like they curse the same way I do.
Yeah.
Vicky said, it may be an unpopular opinion, but when it's not excessive, I find cursing in casual conversations endearing.
Again, but I think she's also saying there's a level to it, right? There's like this nuance where you could get to a level where like people think, okay, now you're just cursing all the time. And I also think it loses its meaning.
No, stop. There's not a single person in this chat that agrees with you.
I disagree. It loses its emphasis when you use it so much.
Dana in Maryland said, oh my God, Anthony sounds exactly like my mom complaining about how my dad talks. It must be an Italian thing because my dad loves to pepper a story with an F word.
Yeah.
I'm with CM. I do this all the time. So funny enough, you said that I often say, oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most F-bombs we've had on a Twitch show before. So that runs in my family.
That's right. Those girls that were posting their buttholes for a while.
That's
so
true.
I think we're okay.
Now, that runs in my family. And I don't mean, like, obviously everyone says that for sure. But we all do that to the point now where my almost 15-month-old niece walks around going, oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
I haven't heard it, but my mom was telling me. And my sister's like, yeah, and she'll be like, oh, shit.
Oh, well, your sister curses a lot.
The worst.
And I mean, everyone in your family curses a lot. Your sister curses the most, I think.
Yes. And normally it's insanely aggressive when she's doing it.
And listen, I'm not saying that no one else curses. I'm just saying that it's a little different in New York and New Jersey.
Wait.
Philly falls into it as well.
Augie in the Netherlands said cursing is beautiful. I don't get why we're making a huge deal about it.
Well, is cursing legal on the radio and on broadcast television in the Netherlands?
I know it is in Australia.
Not even close.
I'm just saying, in other countries, it is. It depends. Where is it on the globe? It might actually be close. It might be closer than you think.
It's not close at all.
Tori D on YouTube said, I read somewhere that excessive cursing was a sign of intelligence.
Yeah, written by someone who curses a lot.
Yeah. Your brother, Justin, is also in the chat, and he said, you don't realize how often you curse until you've got to stop.
There you go.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's a good exercise to monitor it a little bit.
Lisa said, my first curse word was when I was 3. She said, fuck. My dad honked the car, and I said, were they being a fuck? Mine was, wait, you ready for mine? I think I was also 3. I was in our living room. My parents were upstairs, and the garbage man came by. And you know how garbage trucks, they always make that loud-ass noise?
Yes.
I went running up the stairs, and I said, Mom, Dad, the garbage man scared the shit out of me. So, no, it was shit. It wasn't the F one.
There's 2 stories here. One is I always used to think my parents never cursed because they never really cursed in front of us. And it wasn't until very recently, until I realized how wrong I was. I'm talking, when I say very recently, I mean like within the last 3 years, I realized how wrong I was. It's not that my parents didn't curse in front of us. It's that my parents cursed in Arabic. So I never fully realized how often they cursed me out as a child because I was never, those weren't words that I used very often. I knew them and I knew they were bad, but it wasn't, the F or the S or whatever word. So in Arabic, and if you watched Mo Amer's his stand-up, in Arabic, when we're trying to say F you, we don't really say F you. We say essentially like F your mother.
Okay.
And that would be the direct translation of it. Which is real weird when your parents are saying it to you. Or
when your own mom says it.
In Arabic, curses are more, they're like generally cursing your entire family in different ways. Like Yenalabuk, which is like it's curse upon your father, basically.
Oh my God. You're like witches.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't know how to explain all of them.
Your cousin Michelle is actually in the chat, and she said, do you know how many times a day I say, oops, excuse my language?
Oh, in Montreal?
Yeah, but also Michelle probably curses more than I do.
Michelle, even though she grew up in, soft-ass Northern California, she's got a lot of Jersey in her. And it's really the Middle Eastern, like, anger that she has in her, like all of us do.
Your brother...
We heard angry people.
Your brother, very researched man, says swearing measurably improves your pain tolerance, which is probably, Anthony, why you're a little bitch.
No, when I'm at the gym, I do curse to myself all the time. Every time I put down weights, I'm just mumbling F's and S's to myself.
Literally, me yesterday, because I didn't have my headphones in, so I started realizing how much I talk to myself at the gym, and I'm doing Bulgarian split squats going, fuck.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Out loud.
A lot of times I'll drop the weights and just go, oh, fuck.
Yeah, all the time.
All right, let's get back to the list, though. We've deviated very far from the list. And I think we're going to start from the bottom, right?
Started from
And
the bottom.
now we're here.
Oh, I guess so.
What is that on the bottom? I can't see the list. You got to talk me through here.
Perfect timing game day. Why don't you finally tell us about that? Because that's how this started.
Hell yeah. All right. So we talked about it in today's episode of the Morning Show podcast. But
I did not condone that. I was like, really? We're devoting Pop Stop to this crappy school in New Jersey? Okay.
So Seton Hall basketball made it to the finals of the National Invitational Tournament. Now, I talked about it on the podcast, but Seton Hall and the team that we're playing, Indiana State, were both teams that a lot of people said were snubbed and left out of the big tournament. But in a way, neither Indiana State or Seton Hall had a real chance of winning the big tournament. It would have been a long shot. It would have been the hell of a Cinderella story. So this is almost better. Instead of winning one, maybe two games and getting bounced and ending the season with a loss, both of us now have the chance to win the final game of the season, which really, in all of college basketball, I think only 6 or 8 teams get to do that depending on the tournament that you're in. And actually, as I was wearing my Seton Hall stuff, yesterday I was at the gym and I saw a girl wearing a Seton Hall basketball hoodie. And she was walking right in front of me. I said, "Excuse me." And she looked at me. I said, "Go Hall." And we bumped fists and we went on her. And she had the biggest smile on her face. No, she had the biggest smile on her face because as a Seton Hall alum, like we're a very small school, even though we're a Division I college.
It is crazy.
It's less than 5,000 people undergrad. It's a very small school. And there are few times in Seton Hall history when you can be this proud of a sports team, because we don't have a football team, right? And then this morning I saw 2 more people wearing Seton Hall gear at the gym. And then I was listening to Elvis Duran in the morning show.
Oh.
And he mentioned the most perfect thing I could have ever imagined. Now, if you know the way I watch Seton Hall basketball, what do I do the day of basketball games, Carla Marie?
You eat a good luck burrito.
Do you know what today is?
No, it's not. Is it National Burrito Day?
It is National Motherfucking Burrito Day, baby!
Did you seriously just curse?
Let's go!
Also, I'd like to point out earlier, Heather said Anthony definitely already worked out today. And
Oh, yeah. And I got 2 scoops of pre-workout from my cousin Alyssa, so I'm ready. I am ready for National Burrito Seton Hall Day.
That is actually insane.
It's perfect.
So, wait, hold on.
Yes.
Michelle, your cousin, just said, "See."
That was warranted, though.
Okay.
We all know that was warranted.
So today's the day. They win. This is the ship.
That's it, yeah.
The ship or the chip?
Ship.
Champion.
Spaceship.
I don't know.
I know it's a chip, but anyway, I'm going to snooze that for a second. So I decided I'm making a big life decision today, Carla Marie.
What is it?
This is going to be my last good luck burrito day.
Like
ever. I'm going to tell you why.
You retired?
Because if I win, I don't think the good luck burrito can carry me any further as a fan, right? If Seton Hall wins,
fair.
We did it. I did my part. They did their part. We're good.
On National Burrito Day.
Exactly. And if it doesn't, if we don't win, if the team doesn't win, I just say I retire it. That was a good time in my life. We're going to move on. So today on National Burrito Day, during the NIT Championship, it will be my last good luck burrito.
What time is this stupid game on?
7 o'clock East Coast time, ESPN.
All right.
And you know what? Screw ESPN, by the way. And screw Pat McAfee. I never thought I'd say this.
No, like we don't want to start a
Let me tell you why. Let me tell you, Mr. McAfee. Pay attention.
Get on his show.
Well, here's the problem. ESPN has rights to the National Invitational Tournament. The finals teams, like I have been mentioning, Seton Hall, Indiana State. And yesterday, Mr. McAfee had a guest on the show from only one of the teams from tonight's championship game. And it was not Seton Hall.
Okay.
He had someone from Indiana State, which means ESPN is playing favorites, so they can go.
Indiana State is like my favorite college ever after Rutgers.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is, Carla Marie.
Mandarin Rose says she wants you to do one of those videos that are like, "Hi, my name is Anthony. This is my first drink, and then this is my last drink today." So you got to do it right now.
I'm already 2 in, so I'm 2 in and 2 scoops of pre-workout. I am
Martha
ready
said,
to roll.
Who laced your pre-workout?
Her name is Alyssa. She has a promo code for Bucked Up. You can go to her page.
Lisa said today's big announcement is that Anthony's retiring burritos.
No, there's a much bigger announcement, but that is a big announcement, honestly, that I kind of made on the fly.
Kate said, what is the pre-workout that your cousin gave you? Because I really need some. So it's called Bucked Up.
Yeah, and she only gave me, believe it or not, it only has 100 milligrams of caffeine in it. It was like a sour grape flavor.
Maybe it's like one that like goes straight to the bloodstream.
Yeah. Well, I did snort it. I didn't drink it.
Stop. Can you please?
I didn't snort the pre-workout. By the way, I did drink it like a normal
Martha
person.
said yellow with the announcement. I have to go soon. Martha, I don't know that it's going to happen by the time you have to leave.
You know what? I mean, we could do the break. What time is it?
8:28 here.
Normally we do the break around the 30 to 40 minute mark. Do you want to do it early and then get into this?
We can, and then we do have, like, obviously we have this whole list, and then we have 2 events that people in Seattle can attend next week that we have to get to. Do not let me forget that, chat, because it is not on the list.
But did you get the game ready today, Carla Marie?
Yes.
You did not get the game ready.
No, it's ready.
Okay.
I'm just going to refresh it because I just get nervous. Reload site.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, like,
Okay.
is it ready? It's got to, I just got to hit something here. Hold on. Money sign. So I just hit that.
That's it.
I'm going to go pee. But
Did you hit it?
I think I got to do something else.
Did you hit it?
No.
Okay, well, hit it.
Hit it now.
Oh, hello. Pierre, are we back? Are we back on? Are the mics on? Oh, the mics are on. Hello, Pierre. You have a big announcement? That is not just so everyone knows that is not the announcement. We did not tease you along to say that. Look at the chain though. What a great chain. Yes, Carla Marie. Oh, so Carla Marie is muted, but I'm not. You know, there's a button you can hit on the stream deck.
Hello. Well, good thing Pierre wasn't talking. You didn't hear him say anything. All right, sir, your time here is done. Tank.
That's a heavy dog. He's like, and he's not like a fat dog. He's a dense thing. He's like the moon. You know how they say like the moon is very dense? Pierre is the moon. He's got a lot of dog packed into that.
That is a great way to describe him.
That dog's got some dog in him.
He does. All right, let me get some things back here. Okay. He's just so solid. Yeah, you're right, Wendy. Okay, so no, we didn't do the announcement yet. I feel like
Okay, well, but we do. We do have an announcement. Carla Marie, would you like to take it away?
Would you like to take it away?
No.
Okay. So, after much consideration, like years of consideration, I have decided to get my breast implants removed. And I will be doing that on May 23rd of this year. So in 49 days, which is insane. And with that, literally in about 10 minutes or so, the first episode of my podcast explaining this entire process will go live on the same channel as the Morning Show podcast. So you don't have to go searching for it anywhere. It'll actually be in that same feed. But I am so freaking excited. And I have literally thought back and forth for years. And then one day it was just like, I have to do this. And I can answer a lot of the questions now, but I think the first episode really does answer them. Becky said no sound, but
I think she's fine. I think that was her. That may have been her computer.
Tell me that whole thing.
No. A lot of people saying they're so happy for you, congratulating you. There are two questions that I saw, Carla Marie, that I think you can answer here.
Okay.
One was, how long have you had them?
Oh, great question. I've had them for 10 and a half years. So October 11th, 2013, I got them in. I was 25 years old, and listen, I've loved them. They've been great. We've had the best time ever. I do not regret getting them. I'm very lucky. I'm one of the women that have had symptoms of breast implant illness, but I'm not like sick to the point where some women leave work and go on disability and don't know why they're sick, and then they find out why. So I cannot and will not let myself regret them. I mean, when I'm in recovery, maybe we'll talk. But
and that goes to a question that Melissa was asking, are you having any issues with them? So explain just the broad sense of what it is. And I know you go into a lot of detail in the episode that is going to post in about like 15 minutes.
The first actual issue that I had with them, and I still have it till today, and it's been about 4 years, is shooting pains in my boobs, which is not a fun time. It feels like someone's taking ice picks and going here and here and here.
So like around them.
And at the very minimum, it'll happen like once a day, but there are times where like it'll happen a lot when I'm driving, and I'm like, I don't know why. I guess it's the one time I stopped moving. I'm not sure. And I like feel myself doing this. And my doctor thinks that the capsule around the implant could be stuck to my rib cage. So that's fun.
Stuck like it fused like through with cells?
So your body, this is all, again, I'm learning a lot through this whole process. Your body, when you get implants, creates what's called a capsule. And it's almost like your body saying, I need to protect you from this thing that you just put in here. And it creates kind of like it's scar tissue in a way. And it creates this scar tissue around the implant. And when you get
almost
that,
another layer that surrounds it.
And some breast explants, so getting them removed, don't do a capsulectomy. I think I'm getting that. A lot of it also depends when you go under to see what happens. A lot of women want it out because they just want get it all out of me.
Yeah.
Some of it's crazy when you start looking at what these doctors take out of your body. Fred the Mailman said May 23rd is my postal anniversary. It's a great day for new beginnings. Yeah, I'm shipping these boobs out. So they're out of here. So yeah, there's a lot. And so the first episode of the podcast you will hear is just me talking about this process. And then each episode after that, I'm going to have a different guest on. One of them will be my doctor. One of them will be the patient care coordinator at his office, who I believe actually is one of the reasons that they are now black box labeled, because she basically went to battle with the FDA.
What is a black box label?
So Botox and cigarettes are some of the other items that are black box labeled, meaning there is a severe health warning when you get these. The label was not on them 10 and a half years ago when I got them in. And
Gotcha.
even at 25 years old, I probably would have been like, I don't care, I'll be fine. Who knows?
Yeah, of course.
But there's so many health risks. Like, breast implant illness wasn't really spoken about publicly until 2016, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, I'm going to have different guests on. And I see a lot of people saying, Froggy's wife, Lisa, just posted about this. Yes.
We saw people mentioned Froggy's wife and actually Lala, both people that we actually obviously love.
Two people that I have been talking to nonstop for the last year about this. So
did Lala get them out?
Yes. So crazy thing about Lala's story, and she's going to be one of my guests on the episode. Great. Her getting hers out was almost my final straw. Was pretty much my final straw of being like, I need to do this, because hearing her talk about her story, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling a lot of this. And her doctor is actually my doctor. So I'm going to her doctor because of her. And then Lisa and I, Froggy's wife, were talking a while, like for literally the last year, about, I want to do this. Yeah, I want to do this too. What should we do? Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, I'm going for my consult. So we have been very much like, I've been a part of her recovery, learning, like hearing from her, learning about the process.
The installation as well.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is that, yeah, Froggy and Lisa was the one that was there when I woke up from surgery. So, to getting them in. So yes, Lisa and Froggy have been a huge part of my boob journey. I didn't know Lisa was going to post about it. I had already recorded my episode, but she posted about it this week. Otherwise, I would have mentioned her as also being one of my guests this season. So,
gotcha.
The only season, I hope, I'm doing about these boobs. So it will be a mini series. It's called My Breast Explant Journey. You will hear a fun voice that you recognize other than mine when you listen to the episode. It'll be fun.
It's not me, if anyone's wondering.
But no. I'm excited. I mean, and I'm very clear about this on the first episode, but I am not telling people not to get breast implants. I'm just telling my story. If you listen, you do whatever the hell you want to your body. I don't care. But I wish that I knew all of this stuff going into this. So I have a platform. I'm going to share it.
Two thoughts that I have. One is actually, I just want to mention, and I know you're going to talk about a lot of this, so I don't want to get into too much of what you're going to discuss in the podcast, because then obviously no one has a reason to listen to the podcast. But it is a question from Jill, who said, are you worried about what your boobs will look like when they're out? That is what's stopping me from removing them.
So in the description of the podcast, I share some awesome links. And I'm just not going to be able to do that physically right now because I don't have them ready to go. So you'll see them, Jill. There's an awesome Facebook group that now has, I think it's 188,000 women.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of them shared their before and after photos, whether they get a breast lift while they're under or not. And they look awesome. They look like boobs. Like, they're not meant to be perfect. They're incredible. Going for a free consult with the doctor will help you feel better. I'm not worried, but I'm very much like, what are they going to look like?
You never know. I'm assuming everyone's a little different, right?
Yes. So I have absolutely no idea. They've been in for 10 and a half years. I went in with virtually no boobs, literally whatsoever. Since then, I've gained a lot more breast tissue. So I have no idea what they would look like, even if I never got the implants. So yeah, I'm not scared. I'm more concerned about how sick I could get keeping these in.
The other, and I know a lot of the specifics Carla Marie will mention, whether it's in this episode or as she goes through it and figures it out, because you're going to be learning things as you go through this process. And obviously after it's done, you'll have a whole different perspective of what you were talking about even a couple of weeks prior.
Yeah.
But did you say you were going to have Lala on the podcast?
Yes, Lala will be on. She's been awesome. She's been like all over the news talking about this.
So one of the things that I'm interested in, specifically with Lala, and I'm assuming you're going to talk about this at some point. You haven't recorded that yet, right?
Nope.
The thing that I've learned from you, Carla Marie, with breast implant illness is a lot of the symptoms, they're hard to pin down, right? They're kind of like theoretical symptoms to
It's autoimmune systems.
but they're also like, it's hard to even prove that those are direct correlations, right?
There's no test. There is no,
Yeah.
let's do this blood test to see if you're positive or negative for this. So
And it impacts everyone differently.
There's a lot of fuckery that goes around in your head through all of this.
But what's interesting, because also as you age, whether you had implants or not, your body changes, things work differently, right? And if you've had your fake boobs for 10 years, then you're a whole different person today than you are when you got them.
I have no
But
idea.
what's interesting specifically with Lala is her sister,
Yeah.
Lulu, because they're twins.
Yep.
And they're identical twins. And I wonder if their journeys together, because one of them got a boob job, the other didn't. And I wonder if she was able to look at her sister and realize like maybe she was going through things that her identical genetic twin wasn't. And that made her realize like, oh, the only real physical difference is these things. So that'll be an interesting episode.
Yeah, I'm really, really excited to talk to her. I don't think she realizes that she has been that was my okay, I'm going to reach out to the doctor breaking point. And I will share this on here because you guys spend every morning with us. I talk about this in the first episode, but the actual moment that I was like, okay, I'm booking this was I got on the phone with Dee. She'll be on an episode. She is the patient care coordinator for my doctor. And she has a crazy story of how sick she was, and it's insane. But she's telling me all the things that was happening to her. And I was like, holy fuck. She had chronic sinusitis. She was double dosing antihistamines, taking them every day, could not stop sneezing, underwent 2 nose surgeries. It was constant sneezing, constant runny nose, constant clearing her throat, constant sniffles, and constant tickling in her nose. And if you have spent more than 10 minutes with us on this show, you know that is what I have dealt with for 3 to 4 years now. And when I started looking back, I started noticing that a lot of anything that I say that I have today, for the most part, started around that same time. And it's kind of like my body was like, we're done. We can't fight these things anymore. And it all really started happening at the same time. And I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. So that was my moment of, okay, I'm doing this. Put me on his cancellation list, and I'm going to take whatever I get appointment.
What, you canceled it?
No, I got put on his cancellation list because he's booked like almost 2 years out. And
so if someone cancels, you take that.
And that's what happened. But that was my moment of like, this is crazy. So if you've noticed, the sneezing for the most part has been under control. Knock on wood. It's because I have been taking 2 allergy pills a night, and when it's a bad day, I take a prescription, which is not something you could do forever. So I've just been doing that to get to this point. I can come out of surgery and sneeze 50 times. I don't know what's going to happen. But
and it's all a waste.
It's all a waste. But I'm just, listen, at this point, that is the most annoying thing in all of this. And if that's it, that's great. If not, they're still out of me. There's no silicone in my body causing any future harm. I get to be smaller, which I'm excited about. And 25-year-old me would be like, what do you mean you get to be smaller, you idiot? We want big boobs. I just can't wait to not have to deal with these things on me. I'm starting to like feel the literal weight of them, and it's driving me insane.
And well, yeah, now that you have a date and you're getting close, that's like the worst time, right? When you can see the finish line, things get so much harder because it's so much easier to say, I'm just going to give up. I don't want to do this anymore. But you're almost there. And what I want to do now is I want to, close it, end scene, because you do talk a lot about this stuff in the first episode of the podcast, which obviously you're all free to listen to if you're interested when the show is over.
Yes. Again, it'll be in the same place that the Morning Show podcast posts. And it should be live soon. And
What is it called? I haven't talked about the actual name of the podcast.
My breast explant journey. I mean, I wanted something super SEO friendly, so it doesn't get a fun name, although I had a lot of fun possible names for the podcast, but I had to go with something that, like, when people are searching for answers, they could find it, because there's not many podcasts out there.
I also didn't realize how many people in the chat either have or had breast implants as well. A lot of people saying they're thinking about it, or they could never get rid of them, or they've gotten them removed.
Listen, I'm never going to try to convince you to remove yours.
No.
5 years ago, if someone would have said to me, you should get your breast implants removed, I would have been like, fuck off. Like, no. And it took me feeling like absolute trash to realize that something is wrong with my body. And I also, like, they physically look great, but for me, they're just too big at this point, and I don't want this. And if I do end up having kids one day, I'd rather my body be the healthiest it can be. I know you can breastfeed with silicone, but I know you can breastfeed with them, but knowing that there's silicone in my body right by the milk duct, if I was to breastfeed, listen, I get it. You may have done it. I could not go.
I wonder, there have to, and I'm sure you might dive into this at some point, have there been studies testing breast milk with and without
I don't know.
implants?
Probably not, because there's literally zero testing done on women in their bodies.
Put it on your list. Go find out. Go do the test yourself.
I will.
Just go milk some boobies or whatever you do. All right, we are going to end it. And I'm not trying to be rude to anyone who has questions or comments in the chat. We want to make sure that those all go to the right place, and all the information that all the work that Carla Marie's done thus far does not go to waste. So what else is on the list, Carla Marie? And congratulations on launching your podcast.
Thank you. What else? What is on the list is, you have local and breaking news. I think we're skipping something.
Oh my Lord. This is going to sound like I'm saying this specifically because we do the morning show podcast and the way in which we do the morning show podcast. I promise you, it is not. But for the love of God, if you come home like my mom does, and I talked to her about this, so she knows, if you come home and the first thing you do is turn on your local evening news, stop.
Yeah.
Stop doing that to yourself, because holy shit.
Well,
and I've never been a local news evening person. Like, that's not what I came home to do. And I was sitting here on Monday and on Tuesday, and my mom, she would do whatever she does throughout the day, and then she'd come and she'd sit by the TV. And I know that oftentimes she's not even really paying attention to it. It's just kind of playing.
Almost worse, because then they're only hearing snippets. Well,
it's not even that. But, and maybe your local news in whatever part of the country you live in is better. But here in New York, it's literally just babies dying.
Yeah.
Or like, it's just wild. It's like, the fire in Brooklyn kills 12 children today. And then the way they say it,
I know.
There's like no empathy.
Okay.
They're literally saying it for ratings to keep you going to the next awful thing they're going to tell you. Awful.
Imagine though, like my parents, they keep it on for 5 hours and then they go to work.
Your brain's not built for that.
My parents are like, they're repeating. I'm like, yes, because you're not supposed to watch it this long. There's no breaking news. You're not watching updates. They're just saying the same thing over and over again. And I told the both of them literally this last trip home, because this is all I hear the whole time I'm home. I told the both of them, I said, listen to me. If it bleeds, it leads. And they said, what does that mean? I go, it is literally something I learned in college, and it's pretty much common knowledge at this point. They will take the most shocking, scariest, insane story and tell you that, even if it's not the most important thing that you need to know, it's just the most insane thing to make you be like, oh my God. My mom's like, I would never, ever, ever go to New York City. I'm like,
well, that's
they
the
are
problem.
not taking machetes and chopping people's heads off in the street everywhere you go.
And listen, do people in the course of a week get attacked in New York City?
Yes.
Absolutely they do. Yes. But guess what? People in the course of a week or a month get attacked everywhere. But the problem that I have with even just the 2 days of news that I listened to here
Which station? Call them out.
Honestly, I don't even know. I really have no idea. Whatever my mom.
Was it Bill Ritter? Liz Cho? What do we got?
All I know was they loved talking about burning buildings, dying kids, and stabbings. That's like all they talked about for an hour. And I know that all of those things happen. I'm not trying to say that those victims don't deserve sympathy. I'm not saying there aren't criminals out there that deserve to be caught. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that is such a small percentage of what goes on in the world on a daily basis. And yeah, there are some trends in New York that you should probably be aware of. Maybe you shouldn't stand directly next to the tracks. You know, that's like something that you were taught very early on is like give yourself distance so that no one pushes you onto the tracks because there's crazy people in the world. But a random person getting stabbed in their home by their whatever crazy son or ex or whatever, that's not news. You believe it or not, it's not news you actually need to know.
Now, if you were in a small
I know
town,
I sound.
If you you're in
yes.
How many people are in New York City?
In the city living, I believe there are 8 million on Manhattan. I think New York City is 13 million.
There's way more important information that you need to be sharing with the greater New York, New Jersey area for them to better their lives as a community. Mm-hmm. That, again, like you said, I'm not saying that person, forget about them. They were stabbed. That's not what I'm saying. But my parents sitting in New Jersey or anyone else, that the news is supposed to teach you and educate you on ways to live your life better and how to go about things and let you know what's going on. Like, we as a society have gone so far away of why news was created and why we have these laws for journalism. And it's, as someone who studied it and spent all of their freaking money on it to study it, it's infuriating because this isn't what we were taught.
Yeah. There's also Lenny is fact checking me, which I appreciate. 8 million in New York City, 2 million in Manhattan.
All right.
I guess so maybe 13 million in the greater metro area. Either way, it's a lot of people. It's a whole lot of people. Some would say too many for one place this size. But yeah, that's the whole point. Is
Jill just said this news, but women are randomly being punched in the face. Yes, I think it was 5 women. I think it may be wrong again. From when I saw the news story last week, I'm sure it's changed. It was 5 women. Again, is that scary? Would I be walking around New York City like, I'm not getting punched in the face every corner, like being very much aware. But again, that number, when you look at 1.6 million, is insane. How many people fall into a manhole a day? Probably 5.
Let's see. Marianne from New York City said they supposedly caught the suspect. So this is one serial puncher, right?
Yes, it was one.
If I was following the story correctly. And I do think there is, it's weird because there's these two forces at fighting it out, right? There's people deserve to know what is going on so they can protect themselves.
Yes.
But at the same time, what is the line of you're just telling people awful crap all day with no context either, with no, hey, there was this murder, but guess what? On the grand scale, murders across cities are down in almost, I think it was like 20 something out of the top 25 cities in America.
Also,
there are good trends to counteract all of the individual anecdotes that we get every day.
Okay. Another thing I noticed with the news is they're giving, like, nothing is long form, obviously. So they're giving you quick snippets, and they're not giving you the parts that you really need to know, they're just giving you the scary parts. And I'll be honest, I don't know the exact story it was, but it was on the news. And I was like, no, wait.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going crazy because there's so much more to this story. And my dad's like, what? I'm like, that's not it. And of course, who is he going to believe? His daughter or the people on the TV? And I'm like, no. Like, literally, Google it. There's 15 million pieces of information about this. That's not wrong, but that's not the full story.
Yeah.
And it's infuriating that these talking heads, and again, I can't blame them because it's their management and the corporations behind them that are telling them, just say this part and blah, 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 and move on. You only have this amount of time. We know. We've been there. And not even on the news side of things, on the entertainment side of things. So now more than ever, you need to, unfortunately, spend the time to educate yourself if you're going to also watch that news. If you're going to turn a blind eye to all of it, that's fine. Live your life. Don't need to know about it.
A couple things in the chat. So it's Meg Not Megan said 19.62 million in the tri-state area. It's entirely too many people. Lenny from Queens said Queens has 2.4 million people.
Queens.
But the news makes it seem like everyone is getting stabbed, shot, punched, or mugged. And then this is my favorite comment from Kate Parm. She said, I think a lot of people who didn't grow up here or in big cities weren't taught basic safety of being in a big city. And this is going to sound crazy, and I'm going to sound like a billion-year-old angry man. One of the issues that I think we're running into is so many people are unaware of their surroundings because all of us, and I am guilty of it too. We've got headphones in and they're noise canceling headphones all the time. And I get it because if you're on a long commute, right? If you're in the city or whatever, you want to listen to your podcast, you want to listen to your favorite, whatever. But you're then every time you put that in, you're blocking out the world.
I'll be honest though, as a woman walking around outside, maybe broad daylight, I've got headphones in. At night, I don't think I've ever in my life worn headphones ever.
But again, it's the problem if you're riding the subway, right? For example, we're going to use New York City as the example. Yeah. A lot of people do. If it's your normal commute and every single day thus far has been safe, right? You let your guard down like everybody does. You're not at fault for doing that, right? This isn't like a victim blaming thing. It's just what we do as people. When we get comfortable, we let our guard down. And
I definitely wore headphones on the subway, but they weren't noise canceling by the time I was there because they didn't exist.
So, but it's one of those things where I just wanted to point out Kate's message. Yeah, people kind of forgot.
Yeah, true.
There are dangers in big cities. Do you need a laundry list of every terrible thing that happened in that city when you get home from a long day? Probably not. And even if it's not like your parents do it, my mom, I think, just walked in, and my parents do it too. Even when it's on in the background, it's almost worse because you're not getting context, and it's just,
that's what I'm saying,
seeping into your brain with all of these terrible thoughts that you're kind of getting like secondhand almost. Let's see. This is Angela. I grew up in a super small town. As not only a female, but as a Native American female, I have always been taught to keep my eye out from wild animals to strangers, not only strange men, but strange women too. Yeah. There was actually, what was that thing you posted on your Instagram story, Carla Marie? It was like a dad yelling about something.
My God.
I don't want to make it sound like he didn't have a point. It's just, that's what it was.
So his son is 10, maybe 10, ish. And a bunch of girls in his class, like 5 other girls, added the son to a group chat. And they were like, we all have a crush on you. Which one of us do you like? Or whatever they said. And he was like, could you imagine your female, your daughter, being added to a group chat at 10 years old with 5 boys, being like, which one of us do you like? Like, immediately, we're immediately saying, this is insane, this is sexual assault, whatever. Which it is. Or it is a form of, and also we shouldn't be doing this to boys. But then he goes on to say that the girls start calling him, and the dad was in the car, so he answers the phone. And he's like, stop calling my son, done. But then he starts in the caption, he talks about something that's going on, at least in the kids' school system, which is called kiss or slap. And girls are going up to boys and saying, kiss me, they're 10. And if the boy says no, the girls slap them.
Jeez.
Could you imagine? Now, again, that's insane, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Imagine a boy went up to a girl and said, kiss me. And she said no, and he slapped her.
You know, this is stuff like talking about the news and local news specifically. I wish that our local news broadcasts talked about stuff like that. Now that man's story, I don't know where he's from, right? I don't know where that guy's from. Do you know? Was it in his post? And regardless, I'm sure some local news station, hopefully because the post blew up, I'm sure that they tried to get him on. But that's at least, it's a trend, right? This is something that kids in school might be doing that parents should be aware of.
Yeah. He's in New York.
Especially at that age when, you know, not a lot of them realize what they're even doing, right? I don't think those 10-year-old girls were malicious. That's just a thing girls were doing and they all got caught up into it.
I think he's in New York, honestly, and I feel like we should get him on.
Oh, is he really?
Oh, he said, edit. After the conversation with these young ladies, the group chat ballooned up to 13 girls and my son.
It was 5 originally, right?
Yeah. I contacted the school and gave them all the girls' names. The school reached out to all the ladies involved. Parents, protect your sons. Go through the comments and read the powerful messages men and mothers of boys are sharing. And please don't write anything crazy because the topic is important to me. I'll gladly take the time to check. Okay, so.
Yeah. No, and and it's funny. I'm sure the whole protect your sons thing probably was like weird for people because to a degree, it makes it sound like, oh, protect your sons and not your daughters. But his whole point was we already protect our daughters from this type of activity. We also need to understand that your sons need protection too. And one of the craziest things that you'll find is when and like this is going to go way more serious than 10-year-olds slapping each other, which is not a joke. But when you get to like sexual assault and you specifically when it is an older woman and a younger boy, a lot of times, they're not reported because just like in most sexual assault, there's like a level of embarrassment. But
it's almost worse for boys.
There are so many psychopaths out there that will say like, oh man, if that was me, I would have loved if my teacher hit on me. It's like, okay, that's a child that you're talking about and an adult in a position of power, you psychopath.
And when I say
regardless of what your fantasy was when you were 16 years old.
When I say it's almost worse for boys, I'm not saying that the situation, like the act is worse. I mean, the public, this happened to me because we're like, oh, a woman was sexually assaulted. Of course she was. Where if it's a boy, it's like, oh my God, what? This happened to you? And men keep almost everything inside. So there's that. So there's way more men being sexually assaulted than we know about.
Oh, yeah. The number, it's drastically unreported. But I want to talk before we move on to this, from this. Further Mailman said, I have a friend who has been a local news anchor for years, but she gets super defensive when I call out the media for exactly what we're talking about. And the problem is, even with the local news that I'm making fun of here in New York, to a degree, I get it. It's a money-making business, right? These are for-profit companies. They're billion-dollar industries. They're all owned by some big conglomerate. And at some point, traditional broadcast, whether it's radio or TV, is losing so much money that just to keep your job and to keep some ratings, to go to an advertiser and beg for money, you have to kind of go to like the lowest common denominator and scare the shit out of people into watching the next 15 minutes of your show so that you can pay your rent. And I know it sounds, because especially in a place like New York, these broadcasters are making a decent living. But there aren't a lot of those jobs. So if you lose it, going from New York to taking a job in, even Wichita, right? Like a decent city in terms of population size, but you're getting paid a lot less. So from a broadcaster's perspective, I understand that they probably feel like they're kind of boxed into this. But man, and I want to move on from the serious side of this.
Well, speaking of Ohio, there was an ad this morning I was listening to
And for the
CNN.
record, Carla Marie does not think Wichita is in Ohio. She
No,
was
just
speaking of Fred the
Winston-Salem.
Mailman.
Yeah, sorry. I wanted.
Okay.
There was an ad this morning before CNN 5 Things, which I was listening to, and it was about how there's so many job opportunities in Ohio and how I should move to Ohio. And I didn't hear who it was.
Go
paid
for it.
It was obviously the state of Ohio, but it was all about trying to get people to move to Ohio. Do you need people there? What's going on?
Ask Fred. Did they tell you what part of Ohio?
Nope, just said come on over.
Just like maybe Lake, maybe are they closer to like Kentucky? What are we talking
here? Come on
here?
over to this East Coast city.
Yeah, it's not an East Coast city.
It didn't.
Okay. It does have a coast. It's just not an East Coast city.
But yeah, it was a whole commercial for the state of Ohio. And Fred said, we don't want the people we already have.
But I want to talk about news for a second in a whole different capacity. So the main problem that I had was news talking about all the terrible things with no context or no hope. The other thing we need to talk about is what qualifies as breaking news. Because this morning,
nothing that is listed as breaking news ever.
Because this morning, I get an alert, a notification on my phone from the Associated Press, which for the record, I have a ton of respect for them. I think they're a pretty middle of the road outlet. The notification was the fact that a man who has had a great view of Hank Aaron's record-breaking home run just decided to share his picture with the world.
That's not breaking news. It also happened a very long time ago.
It happened so long ago. That is not breaking news. And it wasn't just the notification. It was the fact that it literally said breaking news.
Do they
in
know
the notification
that if you constantly say breaking news, nothing is breaking news to me anymore?
I should be able to sue the Associated Press. I should take them to court for putting breaking news on a 50-something-year-old picture or whatever Hank Aaron broke that record. And the fact that some random guy has had this picture.
Is there a breaking news category on there? No. Top stories. They all do it. They're
breaking
all guilty.
News. I think as a society, we need to come up with like some sort of requirements.
Am I in danger?
Could
my family be in danger? Am I about to die?
Does this matter?
There's no way there's breaking news every day. There's no way.
But
breaking news. Oh, I got it from NBC the other day. Breaking news. White House about to deliver, and it was their regular thing. Their regular speaking thing every day.
It wasn't the State of the Union.
No. And I click it, and I'm like, what's happening? And I'm like
it was like a press briefing?
About the agenda. This isn't breaking. You do this every fucking day.
Yeah. If it was expected, or it is very old or very routine, it is not breaking news.
They don't have
but what else do we have on the list, Carla Marie?
Well, I don't know that we're going to get to all of it, but
let's just go there.
I got to pee.
Lenny from Queens said, breaking news, Tones went to LA Fitness in Ballard.
You do that every day. Actually, no, it'd be Tones went to. Where'd you go today? That's breaking
LA
news.
Fitness in Paramus.
Wow.
Yep. The place, and listen, I love LA Fitness, and now I actually probably the most appropriate partnership I've ever had. I do videos. They pay for my membership. It's fantastic. The LA Fitness in Paramus is a pretty new location. It's very clean. The people are very nice.
Yep. Never been.
But I have never in my life seen a group of people who failed that. You remember that toy you had when you were a kid where you put the square block and the square block and the triangle block and the triangle block and so on and so forth?
At the gyms.
I have never seen a group of people so disrespectfully unorganized in my life.
Same thing. I went to the LA Fitness in Kearney. Gorgeous location. Like, to be honest, listen, I'm from the area. It's very hard to say that about something in Kearney. And it's cool because the pool, you actually have a view of the Passaic River, which is not the cleanest river, but it's cool to see water when you're in the pool. Like, it's very organized. There's cute, pretty little signs, like, over the basketball court. Like, everything is so nice. And then you get to the weight area, and it's like everyone's like, oh, took the idea of flinging around weights literally and went like this.
I actually had like
are we kidding?
secondhand embarrassment this morning because I took my cousin Alyssa to the LA Fitness, and she goes to, I believe, Retro somewhere near Wayne. And we did our first 2 exercises, which were on machines. And then we went to the barbell, the dumbbell area. And she went, why are all the weights so unorganized? And I was like, it's not normally like this. I don't know what to do.
Breaking news. This is never like this.
Except it always is like this. But man, it is rough. I don't know where we were going with that, but what's next on the list, Carla Marie?
People. Wholesome nightclub.
Let's skip this one for today because this is a much longer one.
Okay. Small talk saves money.
Oh, we're going to actually go back to LA Fitness in Paramus for a second. And this will be the last thing because a lot of people give me crap because I always say, I love small talk. The smaller, the better, in fact. I don't need to talk about big, important things or get to know you on like a soul level with every person I meet. Oh, and then we have those 2 local events we got to talk about.
Okay.
And a lot of people will say, oh, well, small talk is useless. I don't get anything. I want to get to know somebody. I don't want to waste my time. I'm so busy, blah, blah, blah. First off, no, you're not. You're going to go home and watch Netflix, you lazy fuck. Anyway, so this morning when I took my cousin Alyssa to LA Fitness in Paramus, I had to get her a guest pass. I was going to pay like the $20 or whatever it was to get the day pass, not a guest pass. And I scanned in, my cousin's next to me, and she noticed that there was a pool because it's one of the LA Fitness like signature gyms. So there's a pool to the right, and I guess they don't do that at Retro. So we were talking about the pool, and the guy was talking about how, people oftentimes in the morning will come and use it. He's never done that, but he does use the sauna, so on and so forth. And we were just making small talk, right? He was telling me about some guy that he saw that actually uses the sauna in the gym and then goes outside in the winter shirtless, like kind of what we did in the floating sauna or sauna, as that guy said. And I said, oh yeah, I think that's something they do in like Nordic countries. That's kind of coming over here. You do the hot and cold exposure, blah, blah, blah. And he's clearly like going through the system, getting ready to charge me. And he goes, you know what? Don't worry about the $20. It's only $20. I appreciate the chit chat. I always like when people can actually sit here and talk. And you'd expect that from like an old lady or an old man, right? This was a guy probably in his mid 20s, just loved small talk, and it saved me $20.
Charm and tones.
$20. Now, it probably helps that my cousin Alyssa was with me.
And she's cute.
She's an attractive woman, whatever. But he was talking to me the whole time. So
well, I mean, it could be you.
But it was great. The small talk paid off. $20 still in my pocket.
Was Alyssa like, damn, good job?
Yeah, she was like, we walked away and she said, that was awesome. And hopefully everyone learned a good lesson. Make small talk. It does pay. Small talk saves.
Honestly, sometimes I'd rather pay $20.
See, that's not the right attitude. And there are times in my life where the small talk has either gotten me a discount or like, you know what? Actually, Carla Marie, now that we go to shawarma time pretty often, and I know the guys behind the table, behind the counter, they know that I'm a Habibi. They give me some desserts sometimes. Although there's only one time I've gotten a dessert without Carla Marie being there. So
really?
Yeah.
So it's me.
Yeah, I think they think it's like a date night thing, so they want to make it extra special. So.
No, it's just a regular Tuesday, and I forgot to make dinner. Thank you. Okay. Speaking of, I went and played the Powerball yesterday. No one hit the jackpot, so I know it's not. But I could have won some money, and I haven't checked it yet. But I'll check it on my own and not tell anybody.
Excuse me?
Scotty said, I'm so confused. I can't find Seton Hall in the bracket. This is why I don't understand sports. Because they're not in the real tournament. They're in a consolation prize tournament.
Yes.
It's a separate tournament.
We're in the National Invitational Tournament.
So if you ever watch Accepted and they make a fake school, it's the same idea. They made a fake tournament.
Hey, what's Rutgers doing these days? Are they playing basketball?
Rebuilding.
Are they one of the final 6 teams in the country playing men's basketball right now?
It's a fake tournament.
Are they? Oh, by the way, there's another tournament called the CIB, the C, whatever it is called. It's like you have the NCAA tournament, NIT, and then there's another one under it. And Seattle U actually won that one. Did you know that, Carla Marie?
No.
We got champions in Seattle.
Okay. All right. So 2 events next week.
Yes. What do we got?
Both are free. First up, on Tuesday, if you live in the Seattle area, our homies, our landlords, Seattle Cocktail Club, they're having a rum tasting event here at the office. It is free, and there are only a few spots left. You do have to be a member, but if you're not a member, it's okay. We'll figure it all out for you. I'm putting the link in here where it says member number, write CMA, and then someone will reach out to you to confirm if you have a spot and get you set up to be a member. I just made that part up now, so I hope they're listening about the CMA thing. But no, but you're all set. Anthony and I will be here, and we'll give you a tour of the studio.
So, oh, yeah. That'll be a lot of fun.
We were supposed to record a game with Martha and her husband that night for the podcast, and I was like, sorry, we can't be recording the game yelling in here when there's a rum tasting right outside our door. So instead, we're going to taste some rum. So if you want to go to that event, fill out that form, okay? Separate of that, if you love the cinema and movies, on
big fan.
Wednesday, Anthony and I are hosting a screening of the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
I'm actually very excited for this movie.
It is also free, and it is first come, first serve, even if like your name is on this list, but you still have to fill out the list. They won't let you in if you're not on the list. So fill out your name.
Also, the movie is free. You buy your popcorn and soda.
Nope.
No?
I'm pretty sure.
They're changing that for this one?
Small popcorn and soda, I believe in the original email they said wasn't.
Have you been to the movies recently? That's like between the ticket, a popcorn and soda, that's like an $800 value.
Let me tell you right now. Yeah, so we're very excited. So we are hosting this screening. We are in charge of filling up the movie theater, so please come.
Yeah, make sure you get that $800 value. You reading all the fine print? You know what? Either way, because Carla Marie said it, she will buy your popcorn.
Provided. Small popcorn, small soda. Okay. Yes, she will. A small popcorn, small soda. Put it on my tab. Candy, you're on your own. So yeah, so
a little Raisinets.
That's Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. In Seattle at the Regal Meridian. It's going to be a good time. Like, send it to your whole family. Invite them. It shouldn't be as weird as when we did Saltburn.
That's the good thing about starting what we've been doing with this movie company, like trying to fill a theater. I think starting it with Saltburn, it got all the weirdness out of the way. You know, sometimes you got to be a little weird up front, and then everything else is normal. So I think that's what happened. That's what happened.
By the way, when you click the link, it's so cute. It says screening partner, and then it's got our logo.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Right?
So if you want to go to either of those events, both of those events, you are allowed to do that if you'd like, or you could choose one. And they're both free, like Carla Marie said, but there are links that you have to click. Mm-hmm. So if you watch this later, it should be in the description of the YouTube video. If you can't find the links at all, or for some reason you're having a problem, feel free to DM me. Or do you want them to email Carla Marie? What's better? Email hello@carlamarieandanthony.com.
Okay.
And that's it for the day, I think, right?
Yeah, I was going to put the Boob podcast link in here, but it's our regular link.
I mean, it's our regular podcast. You can find it. And Carla Marie will post on her socials as well.
Yeah.
But if you want me to be an influencer for your podcast, Carla Marie, you have to pay me.
No, you're being paid. It's on our podcast channel, and you are.
I'm getting paid? Like paid?
Not paid, but paid.
Like how am I getting paid?
The same way we get paid for the morning show podcast.
Oh, so you're not paying me?
No.
As a producer? Because if I had a producer, I'd probably pay him. Like out of my pocket.
Are you kidding?
I'm just saying, you know.
Wait, I haven't even seen it, what it looks like the logo when it's on the podcast. Shout out to our friend Mike Meredith, who does all of our logos. He crushed it with this one.
Tacoma Swifty said, I watched
Look at it
Saltburn.
there.
You got it?
Yeah, it's so cute.
I want to read this last comment from Tacoma Swifty before we get out of here. She said, I watched Saltburn and was more intrigued and interested than I thought, but glad I didn't watch it in public. It was definitely uncomfortable.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little uncomfortable. But thank you very much for hanging out with us. Obviously, there are things we can all do next week together, Tuesday and Wednesday. In the meantime, we've got new episodes of the Morning Show podcast. One posted this morning. One will obviously post tomorrow as well.
Facts.
And Carla Marie, tell the people what you got.
I couldn't see what you were doing because the screen was weird. New episode, first episode of my boob podcast, my breast explant journey, because I'm getting the fun bags removed in 49 days. So yes, go listen. And then all the questions you have, I am happy to answer after you listen to the first episode.
Or in a subsequent episode.
Yes. Okay, how do I
All right,
stop?
peace out.
Okay, hold on. I got to stop it here and I got to stop it somewhere
No, you
else.
got to press the button on the Stream Deck that says
and
end.
ends both?
You have to press that first.
Did it? Okay. I didn't do that yet.